Something that's been on my mind a lot recently as I clean and cook in this house is how much comparison and perfection is stopping us from getting to our goals. And I'm going to explain. I've probably had the last 9 months of entire stagnation purely because I didn't believe in myself anymore. And it wasn't only just from like a position of me comparing myself to other people. That ended up not being enough for me. I ended up comparing myself to my older self and my future self at the same time. And what do I mean by this? Well, I'm always trying to outdo what I've made before. That's what I find, right? But the problem with that is you trying to outdo what you did before and then trying to outdo what you're doing right now, because right now what you're doing is before, and literally any second after this point is what you've just made before. It literally is a never-ending cycle of what feels like production, but in the end it actually isn't productive. It becomes counterintuitive and counterproductive because you then, as an artist, you never release any of the music in which you're working on because you're always trying to outdo yourself. But a thing that I have come to understand in this, by the way, this isn't going to be edited, so we're just gonna literally just chilling with me. So if I'm in and out of frame, listen, one thing I'm learning is done is better than perfect. And even me putting this video up right now, like just to press record, so much perfectionism and comparison in my head is like, oh well, this person like edits their videos like crazy, this person does this with their videos, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. It's like, dude, just post the fucking thing, because it's like, it's the value in the video, it's the value in the song, it's those things that matter way more than any kind of production value or anything else. And that's literally like what I teach all the fucking time to artists and help them grow and help them get out of their own way. But we struggle to take so much of this advice for ourselves, right? Why is it like that? I think it's because we have an emotional attachment to whatever it is that we're working on. So we can kind of go in and give someone else advice in the same way that, you know, we could give relationship advice to someone else, but then we don't take the fucking relationship advice ourselves. And then we wonder why we are still single or why we haven't got any long-lasting relationships, because we have an emotional attachment to it. And I think there's something in human nature, which is where, like, if someone tells you there's a bear in the woods, you don't believe the bear's in that woods until you go for yourself, because you won't know for certain. Even if 17 other guys came out of that woods all battered and scratched up, you're like, yo, I'm still gonna just go check, because maybe I won't see the bear, or maybe the bear isn't there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so stupid, but I digress. What was I saying? So perfectionism. Yeah, perfectionism, comparison, and the lack of completion has definitely been a problem that I've been having, where it's like, dude, just get the shit done. Like, done is better than perfect. And perfect, to me, doesn't exist, and I'll explain why. Think about the songs that you released literally even a year ago. You look at them now, and you've got 101 things that you would change about them. What does that tell you? That there will never be a point where you think something that you make is perfect. I think in all the music that I've ever made, there's only like, I think my first ever song, surprisingly, I still think is arguably one of my best songs, if not the best song that I've dropped. And that's normally been a lot of my North Star, which is crazy to think about. It's like, dude, I was fucking 22 when I made that. 21, in fact, because I dropped it at 22. And I listened to that song and I'm like, damn, dude, like, this was really great. But then I'm like, I remember not enjoying the process of making it. It was like 8 months of self-doubt and stagnation. And then even though that song then dropped and is still one of my biggest streamed songs, it's like, you didn't drop for another year because of that same perfection and all the rest of it, that you didn't stack up songs. You know, they do these studies of, like, they talk about this guy, these groups. So you have one group that they told to make the most pots, and they told the other group to be able to make the best pots. And it was a group in which made more pots that ended up coming out with better pots because they took more shots at the board. And it's like, even though for me, I still feel like that's my first song, I Need to Go Home, is like one of my favorite songs, let alone one of my best songs. It's like, so fucking what, dude? You didn't build any momentum, and the people that you brought in for that song, they loved it for a time, but then you didn't do it again. And because you were spending so much time trying to reinvent the wheel and do it again, you ended up losing your own momentum, versus like if you actually just threw more shots at the board, you would just overall like make better music. And also it's like, it's my opinion, and I think this is a thing as well for artists that they have to start realizing. Your opinion isn't always the best opinion. The amount of times that I've had a song in which I thought was going to be the best song or the best performing one on the project, and it wasn't, and it was some random song that was on my hard drive that someone told me I should finish, is unbelievable to me. And it makes me realize, like, you can have very good ears and you can predict if a song is going to do, like, semi-decently, but the matter of fact is you don't have any control. Like, it could literally be a thing in which, like you could drop a song and it could have just been the wrong day that you dropped it, or like, and there's no control you have that, or like the time of day that you posted the reel, no one saw it or whatever. But you know what you can do? You can post again and you can do it again and again and again, and you can release another song, or you can come back to that song years down the line or months down the line and remarket it again. Like, I'm literally in the process right now. Like, I just did a DJ set for the 2 new projects that I'm about to drop, because I'm looking to just flood the market. And before I played those songs, I played about 8 songs of my old discography, and we had the whole thing filmed. Because if you are only now making content for new music versus the music you already have, you are missing out on potentially giving your old, like, children the opportunity to literally blow. Like, let's say your song has 100K streams. Do you know how many people are in the world? Do you know how many people are users on Spotify and Apple Music? Like, there are hundreds of millions, if not billions of streams that you still have not acquired. So best believe I'm going to promote a song until I have hit every single person I possibly can. In my head, I'm like, there's no ceiling. Like, especially with something which is entire free game, like trial reels are super good for this, where it's like, I've had one reel alone, or like a multitude of reels that I've edited in different variations at the same moment, that I literally would have missed out on 5 million extra views on the 3 million views I originally got, purely by posting on trial reels, because they go out to new audiences who have never seen it before. So if you ever have like a video that does really well, always understand that you can then essentially predict the future and just post on trial reels like every few months the same videos, and they'll still bang, because it's for a new audience. I'm just gonna put this here so that I can actually cook, because I'm not gonna be able to cook shit like this. I didn't really want steak today, but I was like, you know what, I better just cook this so I've got it available. But yeah, it's like, dude, the amount of times in which I've done that, where it was like, oh, like with, for example, the song that I said I feel like is my favorite, before I made that song, like 4 years ago, I was making like stuff over like trap beats. I wanted to sound like Future and Young Thug. Like, that was who I wanted to kind of sound like, and I still love their music, but I totally missed the fact that I'm an R&B artist. Like, I make R&B music, dude. Like, that's not my bag. And that's not what I naturally like gravitated towards. Like, I always knew that I gravitated more towards R&B beats and soulful stuff, but I was like, young me just was thinking like, oh, but the girls aren't gonna like that. Stupid me didn't know what the hell I was talking about, bro. Girls love R&B, bro. All that trap stuff like is great, but again, it is definitely more of a male-dominated audience. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in my head saying, no, that's not cool. It's like, bro, that's the coolest shit ever, to make some songs that make girls feel something. Do you know what I mean? But you grow and you evolve, and I think you need to give yourself that leniency and permission to change over time. You know, I was like only like 4 years into writing music at the time, and 4 years in, I entirely changed my sound and realized, oh, I've been making bullshit for 4 years. Not that the genre's bullshit, it's just what I was making was just total bullshit in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? If there's anything that I've ever been proud of myself for, is the constant evolution of my sound, or like the constant progression that I've been trying to make. But it gets very easy to get in your own way with that, because there is no end. But I think that's okay. Like, you're not meant to reach the end where you have this moment where you're like, oh, I've done everything I possibly can as an artist. There's always going to be new art. There's always going to be new ways of saying the same thing about the same subject matter, because you're going to have new relationships on love. You're going to have new friends who come into your life. You're going to have entirely unique circumstances that, even though you can relate to other people who have had similar circumstances to you, you only have your one brain in this world where you could talk about it in 101 different ways. So I think with that, it is beautiful as well, just the amount of sounds and genres there are, and the amount of genres that will come and evolve and come into the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much, dude. There's so much that you can be able to do. But the kind of point of this video at the 10-minute mark that I'm trying to make is like, there's a stagnation that can very easily happen if you're not careful, where you will just forever think that you're not good enough because you're always trying to outdo your old stuff. And then what happens is that you end up being late to your own party because you've got all this music that's actually fire, but then you're not dropping it and you're moving on to more demos because you're already sick of the music that you've just made. And it's a really, really dangerous place to be in, and it's why I'm not surprised that 97% of artists don't drop more than 10 songs on Spotify, is because we just get bored of our own stuff too quickly, or we don't finish stuff. Like, we have to learn to finish stuff versus thinking it's perfect, or needs to be perfect, or that, you know, we need to move on to the next session, or whatever else it is. I think these things are really, really, really the reason why artists don't really get anywhere, you know? You want to see my steak? It's pretty cool. I'm just going to leave it out for a little bit while I do this. But I do personally feel, in fact, no, you need to see my face for the clips. I do feel this way, like, strongly. Like, I'm seeing it in myself, where I'm not realizing that, and this isn't in a cocky way, but I've been doing it long enough. Like, you'll do this thing long enough where your worst song is still going to be good, and you won't feel it. And if you don't feel it and you feel like you're continually trying to improve, it's a high sign that you make good music and that you're just, I don't like the word humble, but you want to strive for more and you want to be better. All the best athletes in the world want to be better than who they are. They don't want to stay where they are. So it's clear that you probably just have an athlete type mindset, right? And that's great, because that lets you know that you really, 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 really want this shit, and you really want to be known more outside of just, you know, making a lot of money from this thing, or just to have eyes on what you're doing. You want eyes on you that respect you because you respect the craft. And I think there's a lot of people who don't respect the craft, and a lot of those people are the ones that I'll probably see in my DMs, or I'll see people like just requesting and being like, yo, how do you get into the industry, or how do you do this, this, and this? It's like, dude, there is no one cut way into it, but it's the same way of asking, how do you start a business? This is a business at the end of the day. And it's like, there's no right or wrong decision that you're making in this music industry. The only wrong decision is you making no decision. And I'm a firm believer of that, because if you just stay still or you try and be too cool, as Tyler, the Creator, says, you'll freeze to death. Let's just wipe that. As Tyler, the Creator, says, like, you'll freeze to death, bro. If you try and stay still, like, staying still is the worst thing to do. If you're in battle and you stay still, you're going to get shot, bro. And someone else is just going to take your place, and they're going to be able to just take over the whole army that's, you know, coming against them. So in the same way, perfectionism, you have to be okay at some point of turning away from the canvas and saying that the art is done, because otherwise you will just stay there and not make any progress. I've had this for the last 9 months, because I've always kept trying to outdo myself, but I'm trying to outdo my most recent work that's not even out. And it's like, there's no point that ends up actually stopping, or you get to a moment of actual contentment. And it is a difficult cross that we have to carry, where it is very difficult we never are gonna have the first listen experience or the consumer's experience listening to the music. And I really wish we did, because it would make life 100 times easier if we could enjoy it as much. I think the time in which I enjoy my music the most is when I hear other people listening to it. And I'm getting more used to this, and this is an easy thing that you can do, where it's like, play your music to other people in the midst of you making it. Like, stop excusing and being like, oh my God, like, the mix isn't there, the master isn't there, the writing isn't there. Like, most people aren't even hearing the lyrics the first time you play it anyway, but they are gonna feel the energy. And energy cannot be replicated or faked, because you can feel it. Your survival instincts can tell you when someone is not enjoying it, and they'll know that very quickly. But also understand, if they don't feel it, that's cool too. It doesn't mean you have to give up on the idea. It doesn't mean you have to change what you're doing. All that lets me know is that maybe it's not for them. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe that song isn't specifically for them, but I think you would know. Like, I'd say, find friends of yours that are very supportive but aren't yes men, because it's very easy to be a yes man and love everything that you make. Do you know what I mean? There's people that I know they will love everything that I make. But then I'm also like, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe they're just a fan of what I'm making, you know, because I can tell if someone's lying. So the fact is, like, you're gonna have a standard for yourself, and you should. You're always gonna have a standard for yourself that you want to keep, where it's like, you know what it's like if you're going into the studio and you're making some bullshit and that you don't believe what you're saying. But then you have this other standard where you know when you may have just gone in there and blacked out and made something that you've never made before. But show up to really show out when you're recording. And I would just highly recommend you playing your stuff to people as early as you can, because it's going to give you the motivation to know and the test, like just use it as like kind of like some people as your test subjects. You need it. You need to have people to test your songs out with, so you can actually feel the vibes and know if you're onto something. Because if you're only trusting your own judgment, that can go both ways. And it's like, you're one person, there's billions of people out there who may love the song that you've got. It happened with my song D-Lo, where it was just a demo that I never thought I'd go back to. And because I was at the songwriting camp that we were hosting, and one of the producers there overheard it, he was like, bro, finish that shit. That shit's hard. I would have never finished that song. And that ended up being one of my biggest songs. That ended up being one of my first songs to organically do really well. It was entirely thanks to him, you know? And it's like, that wouldn't have been thanks to me. Even though I wrote it, even though I've done all those bits, I would have never done so because I didn't believe it was good enough. And it's like, it doesn't have to be good enough yet. It just needs to have a seed of potential, and you need to finish these ideas. So my kind of practice right now is I'm trying to finish things a lot more now, because it's so easy to just leave. I've definitely got hundreds of demos that I've not finished. Facts. I've got hundreds of demos that I probably won't finish for months, if not years. There'll be stuff I'll go back to and I'll entirely forget that I even recorded it. Like, that's how much music you should be recording, but minus the part where you forget they exist, because you could be sitting on a whole album right now and you don't even realize it. I swear to God, if this fly goes on my shit, I'm gonna lose it. You could have a whole album of slaps, but it's because you're progressing. Newsflash, you are always going to be ahead of your fans. You're always going to know about the new shit that you're going to drop that is way better. Do you know what I'm saying? That sounds better than what you've got there, but that means that you've made progress. They're always going to be maybe a year or two behind what you're making. But it's the same with films. Films take 2 years to produce, and by the time they come out, that director's already working on the next thing and the next thing. That's the definition of momentum. Like, that's how it goes. So don't now feel like because you make some better shit that now you've got to put the old shit to the side and not work on it. No, dude. What that lets you know is, god damn, like, if they're fucking with this, once I start dropping this other stuff, it's a wrap, my dog. Like, that's how you got to start looking at it, bro. Like, it's a total wrap. It's going to be an entire wrap when they hear the new stuff. And then when that stuff comes out, you have even better stuff. But the point is, you need to drop all of it. If you don't drop all of it, you're literally stopping yourself from having momentum. Because I'm just going to be really, really, really honest with you. One song is not going to make you blow. And even if that one song blows, the song's blown doesn't mean you have. For you to then blow as an artist, and for people to respect you as an artist, and for people to actually say you're an artist and be a fan of you, they need to be able to spend more time with you. And why do you think Drake has over like 500 songs out, or Future has over 800 songs out? NBA Youngboy has, I think, like more than 1,000 songs out. He's able to spend a lot more time with his fans than you are. Like, you probably have like 20 minutes worth of music out. I can't be the biggest fan of you. But even that is like asking a lot of like new artists these days, where they're barely dropping even 3-4 songs a year. Imagine a bar that I want to take this girl to, or like anytime I'm going on a date, I want to have this regular bar that I go to. It can't be my favorite. It could be my favorite bar. In my heart, it could feel like it is when I go and I have the best time there. It's the best spot. But if it's only open 4 times a year, when they feel like it, I can't even regularly consume from the place. I can't even be, I can't even really promote it. I can't even tell other people about the bar and be like to my bro, yo, you should take, like, if you got a date, like, you should go here with this girl, whatever, bro. Like, it's the best place. Because like, they're not even open. So yeah, you only having a few songs out is just really just giving yourself, you know, a disadvantage from a guy who maybe drops like 2 projects a year. And if you're hearing 2 projects a year and you're like, damn, that's a lot, then it's like, dude, like, step your game up. Like, get your recording game up. Like, it doesn't cost anything. You don't have to go to a studio. You're watching this on a phone right now. This phone has a microphone in it. You can you all have some form of AirPods or some shit in like on you, or even wired microphone, like wired headphones with microphones and shit, dude. Like, there's no excuse. There's literally zero excuse to say that you can't record in mass. Because if you're telling me that basically you can only hit the bat out of the board one time, and you feel like you can only make one song that people really bang a year, if that, it's like, dude, like, you need to get more reps in. It's not, I don't think it's your fault. I just think it's a perspective shift of understanding, like, someone else right now, while you're watching this, is recording and is working on an album and is working on the album after that and the album after that. Someone who's worse than you. That's the thing. Like, they're probably not even anywhere near as good as you, but it comes back down to the group thing that I was talking about, where it's like they gave one group the option to basically make as many pots as possible, and they gave the other group the option to make the best pots possible. The group that made as many as they could had better pots because they got into the art of just making more, and you also just get better when you do make more. So overthinking, perfectionism, comparison, all these things don't do anything for you. They don't help you actually get closer to your goal. They actually just hold you back, because all it is like this little voice in your head that's saying, oh, no, that's not good enough. You could do better than that, or this and you can't. But that shouldn't now translate to don't do anything. You know, like, that should just translate to we'll get there. May not be there right now, but I know what I'm making right now is hard. But like, what I'm gonna come out with later, boy, that's the real shit. And then even when that comes out, you have more real shit because you're improving. So you're going to the gym. You're not going to the gym to just hit the same, like just to hit the same PB for the next 5 years. You're gonna have a new PB. Your newest songs are gonna be your PB, but don't rob your fans of hearing the progress. Don't rob the fans of having the songs that aren't as good, because to them, you can't decide what their favorite song is. Do you know what I mean? You know how many times, like, out of that, I think I got nearly like 30 songs out, and it's like, I'm looking to drop another 12 to 20 this year. Ideally, 40, you know, but I've just got to kind of find a cadence, and that's on me. Like, I want to be able to find a cadence that I can work with that's going to allow me to be able to drop that much, right? But I can't tell you the amount of times that it varies. Like, some people say, I really love, like, I'll be so surprised. I remember, like, for me, this year, a huge thing I was focused on was trying to make more up-tempo stuff. And people really loved the up-tempo stuff that I made when I played it at the listening party. But what people loved was the last song. It was like an outro, and I didn't expect it. They loved the outro. They were like, it was this song called Forbidden Fruit that hasn't just come out just yet that I was previewing to them. And I was playing it at the songwriting camp to all the guys who came out to it. And the song is basically talking about someone that you can't be with for reasons that I go into in the song, hence the written name of it being Forbidden Fruit. And the amount of guys who turn around like, bro, this is the exact situation that I was in last year, or this is literally what I'm going through right now, like the nuance of what you're saying. And I thought that would be that would be the song in which people would sleep on the most. And maybe it was the environment, me playing it, but the fact is they heard all of them in this heightened environment in this villa, and they all turned around and said, bro, this is the best one. Like, this is the one that makes me feel the most. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I would have never thought that. Like, that's the one they asked to keep hearing back over and over again. I would have never thought that would have been the one. So you can't put yourself in a box or already decide what you think is going to be the song, when it's like, the audience are going to decide. So the best way for you to do that is put everything out as you can. Because maybe you wake up one day, I have 2 spare tickets for the weekend tonight. Are you not going? Hold on. Sorry about that. I had to find out what there was going on. Apparently I'm going to the weekend tonight, or maybe on the weekend. Just looking at the steak stuff. Hold on. Yep. 2 cloves of garlic, lightly crushed, left in their skins, and 1 bunch of fresh thyme. Fresh thyme, I haven't got no time. Alright, cool. So basically we just got the butter situation going on. So yeah, as I was saying, perfectionism, ooh, that's sizzling good, bye-bye, is just gonna finish you. Do you know what I'm saying? So don't let it, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I promise you, if you're now spending 80% of your time on this song trying to perfect the last 5 to 10%, it's not going to make as crazy a difference as you just getting it out. Because also, if you want to do, if you want to be on a technical one, you can always update the song later. Because bear in mind, a new song is a new song to anyone who hears it for the first time. But like, you're able to on like DistroKid and stuff now, you easily are able to swap out mixes or new versions of songs. So like, just get the shit 80% done. In my humble opinion, that's how I feel, because you can just so easily stop yourself from ever releasing it, and then you're just gonna get sick of it, because you are just naturally listening to your song like more times than someone's gonna hear your song over an entire year within a concentrated period of time. So there's different ways you can go about this, and there's different ways you can skin a cat, but I would say either just give like the songs time to live, so you know what to do. Like, so you know whether like, maybe sometimes, you know, when you listen to a song, you're like, oh, this is sick. And then you come back to it and you're just like you wake up the next day and it's like, this actually isn't all that good. That's also very possible. You feel me? So that's cool. Like, that's totally cool. Give it time, but like, just understand when it's time to let go is what I would say. And I promise you, you're giving it a lot more energy than you need to right now. Purely because you're worried. I know it is. You're worried that people are going to think it sucks. But if you're already worried about that, then you need to look at the confidence that you have in the song. Do you know what I mean? And like, in yourself. That's got nothing to do with anyone else, because no one else has told you it sucks yet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're worried about what people are going to think of your music, then you need to consider like why you started this, and remind yourself like you've already won. Like, you know how many places in the world they don't even have iPhones where they could use BandLab, and you're complaining about BandLab being the reason why you can't make anything. It's like, bro, the amount of songs that have billions of streams by artists that may or may not be in jail right now that were done with Apple headphones, like, dude, you're good. Like, girl, you're good. Like, don't be beating yourself up about something that literally, so what? So what if people don't fuck with it? So what if it gets no views? Like, no one saw it. So it's not that big a deal, you know? Like, don't let perfectionism stop you from your greatness. Do you feel me? So, one sec. Yeah, bro, I may have someone who's got a free ticket for me, so I'm just trying to pattern it. If you're going tonight, the stars would align like crazy. Anyway, sorry. I definitely got ADHD. I can't do multiple things at the same time. But I say that, meanwhile, I'm saying this while I'm cooking. But yeah, get out of your own way, man. And like, I think a lot of you're worried about the wrong things. Like, if you're focusing on content and all the rest of it, but you're not even content with the music, let's lock in on that first. You get me? So yeah, that's what I got for you today. I'm gonna finish this steak and all the rest of it. I ain't really got much more to waffle about. But look, if you want to ever get on like a one-on-one with me, you just want more access or someone to be able to actually go through these things with you, literally just join the community in the bio. I literally do like 2-3 calls in there a week with the group, and you've got loads of reviews and testimonials there to see people actually reaching their goals and, you know, getting to their first 100k monthly listeners, millions of streams, and finally getting out their own way. And we do songwriting camps abroad, like, and have an amazing time. So don't feel like numbers are the thing that's stopping you getting to where you want to be able to get to. Like, it's probably you, I'm not gonna lie. So start there, and it can be really lonely doing this by yourself. So if I've got any final advice for you, don't do this shit alone. It gets very, very, very lonely, and there's a whole community of people out here waiting for you to join and help out. And trust me, it would be the best decision that you make. So yeah, if you need anything else, you know where to find me. If you want to come to one of the songwriting camps that we do and the artist development coaching that I do, literally know where to go in the bio. But anyway, have a lovely day.